Terrence here with Root Healthy Plants. In today's video, I'm going to take you along while I do a little walkthrough in my garden to see what the garden needs and maybe a little less of what it doesn't need. So I've been doing a few things, making a few tweaks. I just want to get an idea where everything stands as of now. Join me. So in the front, we have the swamp milkweed. They're starting to die back a little bit. They're not flowering anymore. Our sweet bay magnolia that I planted here, we still have some flowering there. And you can see some bees right there. Bees are liking those magnolia little flowers. Baby sweet bay magnolias there, nursing that one. But over here in the front by my mailbox, we got a bunch of our flowers coming in here. And a lot of the zinnias are starting to pop. We got our fiery bee balm right there doing its thing. You see the pollinators around there. And right behind that, we have our lamb's ear. Lamb's ear doing okay. And these are corn beads right here. The ones that look like corn. And I didn't put any out here this year. When I was harvesting them last year, because I had some out here last year, I dropped some of them and you can see that they seeded themselves. And they're back. So hopefully they don't cross-pollinate with my glass gem corn, but we'll see. But yeah, a lot of these zinnias are doing their thing. You know, a lot of natural flowers. I got a lot more stuff that's coming in that I seeded here, so this is going to start to pick up even more in the months to come. But let's go in our front yard food forest where we got plenty of sunflowers, as you can see there. And we got more sunflowers coming in soon. Just looking from the outside. Nice. Look at that pretty one right there. The first thing you see walking in here, I got a bunch of trays of stuff. These are mostly all peppers. I just do a bunch of peppers and garden soil in these trays here. And I'm just trying to germinate as much as I can. I'm going to separate them in maybe a week or so. I just want to make sure all of them had their true leaves on here. And you see we have the Hungarian wax peppers. These over here are all jalapeno peppers. And then we have, and these right here are supposed to be the Holland bell peppers right here. So I'm definitely going to be taking these out and transplanting these soon. We're not going to spend too much time out here. I just want to check on things. Our hazelnut tree, this thing has quadrupled or maybe even 10x its size this year, and it's still going. Check on this cabbage out here. How's this cabbage doing? You know, I got some holes in them. I might need to net this soon. So we're gonna walk down this first row here. We got a lot of rose bushes and just different types of roses and sunflowers you see. And what else do we have? We have lettuce going to seed. What else do we have coming down here? We have some onion starting to flower there. Some volunteer tomatoes. We got some squash in there. Yeah, we got some squash in there. All around there, squash. Looks like another volunteer tomato. We got some marigolds coming in. You know, pollinators with our fruit. And we have more volunteer tomatoes, squash. Now this is, see, I might need to transplant this. This is the tomato plant that I have yet to move out of this pot, and another squash that I had in this pot that's growing out of it, but it's still doing good. And if I leave it here, the roots are going to grow through the bottom of that pot and into the growing medium under that. So I might just leave it there, but look at all these volunteer tomatoes. Volunteer tomatoes, look at all those. And we got a volunteer tomato in there, right under our big old peach tree right here. Let's see. What else we got going on? This summer squash plant, it's growing real big, but it's not giving me any squash right now. I don't know, I might have to, oh no, I lied. You see that squash in there? Look at that squash. I don't even know what kind of squash. I don't remember putting that one out here, but clearly I did. I didn't think this one was producing anything, but I'm wrong. We definitely got a squash in there. Nice. We got our Tuscan kale that here from last year. It held on. What else is going on? We got another squash. It's not really doing anything right now, but we got squash all over. Little baby squash coming in, baby squash, baby squash. And this right here, these are ready to harvest. These are our kale. This is red Russian kale seeds. These are now dried out and ready for me to take this out. So I'll probably come back here when this video is over and take out this red Russian kale plant and harvest all these seeds right here. Let's go back this way. Bend in this corner. What do we have over here? Multiple squash. So I gotta watch my step because I got squash all in the ground here. You see all these little squashes right here, squash plants. Put them wherever I find space. I'll throw squash anywhere, and wherever it will thrive, and if it won't, it won't. Who knows? But look, a couple carrots, maybe carrots over here, squash there. We got a cucumber coming in right there. What else is going on out here? Anything else? Another cucumber coming in right there. All right. We got a nectarine tree. This tree isn't really producing anything this year. Our other nectarine tree is, though. So we have some, I thought was ever-bearing strawberries in this patch. This patch is seeming like it's not ever-bearing strawberries. So I'm going to take out this patch, probably put some more squash in there or something. I'm going to put something there. I'm not sure what I'm going to put yet, but I'm definitely going to harvest some of this Myoga ginger this year. So all these Myoga gingers right here. But what else do we have? More squash. You know, hopefully we'll see what these squash do. We got our pawpaw tree right here. Dang, another squash. We have our prickly pear cactus, cacti. We got elderberry. This one's spreading. Elderberry right here. These are spreading. And I thought the birds ate all of the elderberry off because they flowered, so many flowered, but the birds came in and tore this thing up. But it left a little bit on this one. So we'll see what we can actually produce. I should probably net this now. So I netted this elderberry right here. And as you can see, if you can see through the netting here, there's elderberry in there. And some of them, ooh. Let me see if I can lift this up for you, just so you can get a better look at what's going on here. Because, hold on. Look at these gorgeous elderberries. These are ready to harvest. And we got a bunch more. We got a bunch more in there. Look at those. This elderberry is doing this thing. And we got more all in the back of there, all around. All right. Got some sage. What else? Some thyme. All right. And we have other stuff in the fray here. I don't want to go too far in here, but we got another pawpaw tree right here. I want to cut back some of this other stuff. Where's our American plum? We have an American plum right here. It's hard to see because of the sun, but this is an American plum tree. Still young, not of fruiting maturity yet. I'm going to go back this way, see what else we have going on. Okay. Now, we're going to watch our step. I'm not trying to step on any of these squash over here. And let's see if we can peek through this nectarine netting here. I don't want to have to take it off, but we definitely have, you can see the nectarines on there. Nectarine there. There's more on this tree. They're in there. You see nectarines. They're on this tree. You can see them. But look at this. And this is a big squash patch that I have in here. So the one sticking up the most right there, that's a fig tree right there. That's a Chicago hardy fig. It'll probably, hopefully, start fruiting in late summer, early fall. But this is exactly how I wanted it to look. This whole ground cover area, and this is doing amazing. I expect to get a ton of squash out of this area. So, I mean, I had to put at least 20 different squash plants, but I expect this thing to continue to sprawl out. Hopefully it doesn't sprawl outside of that fence line right there, because that grass over there gets cut. That's not my side, that's my neighbor's side. But I want to make sure it starts to train back on inside the fence, and I hope to get a lot. It's not producing yet. These are all winter squash, but this is a beautiful squash patch. Look at that. We're getting ready to head to the backyard now. Our Japanese maple that we put in the ground this year is still doing good, hanging on. You know, heavily mulched. Make sure this thing stays watered. So walking in the backyard, it's my milkweed section. It finished flowering, but they're now going to seed. You see those pods right there? They are going to seed. Look at those. Look at those pods right there. They actually look kind of beautiful. You know, I like those. But this is our glass gem corn. We are going up, or we're kind of reaching upon the 2-month mark, but the glass gem corn is going crazy. I mean, it doesn't take much for these to grow, but I definitely did fertilize them when I put them there initially. So I had put these here 2 weeks apart. So this back part right here, it's not that it's not getting the sun that it needs. It's just I put these in 2 weeks later than this front patch right here. But definitely, they are going crazy. We're going to get a ton of glass gem corn this year. And we're now heading into our backyard food forest. I still have I got 15 green giants that I still have to put in the outside my enclosure. I got a pawpaw tree right here. I got another pawpaw tree right here. They're doing good. And I got a small chestnut tree right there. So that's outside my backyard food forest here. But we're gonna go inside and see what's going on. You know, see what's making headway here. So I got the pots here that I still didn't transplant all these, but I actually might leave these here because I think they're going to grow into the ground. We got a squash right here. It's flowering already, so I might just leave it. It's doing good. I got my, what are these? Persimmon. So I got 5 persimmon trees right here. And then I got another sickle pear. So I just got this one. I actually got this one for 10 bucks. So it wasn't doing the greatest. It was like roots sticking out of it inside the nursery, and they gave it to me for 10 bucks. So we're gonna put this sickle pear in the ground soon. It's doing good, it's alive. 10 bucks, can't beat that. I'm gonna nurse this thing back to health. But let's do it. We're gonna go down this slime first. You know, these are my fruit trees here. I forgot which one this one is. I think this one is a sickle pear also, if I'm not mistaken. Or plum. I think this is this one's a Bruce plum. That's what it is. But look at that. We got squash coming in. I littered this backyard with a ton of squash, but let's do it. So see these baby squash coming in? They're gonna start going crazy soon. Sunflowers, squash doing their thing. More sunflowers. All right. We got a blueberry bush. So I took the netting off this blueberry bush, 3 of my blueberry bushes, because it just wasn't getting the airflow that it needed. So right now they're producing blueberries, but the birds are eating them all. And it is what it is. I got blueberries that I'm harvesting from a couple of the other blueberry plants, but sunflowers, you know, a bunch more sunflowers. We got sickle pear here. We got watermelon coming in right here, slowly. Squash back there, squash right there. Volunteer tomato. And the volunteers come from me putting compost in the ground. So I didn't put any of these tomatoes here. So tomato. This is actually watermelon right here. And this is a currant bush. Currants. All right. This is red delicious apple tree. I mean, it's alive. You know, it's not going to produce fruit this year though. We have another volunteer tomato plant. I'll leave it there though. I'm not pulling no volunteers. Volunteer tomato, another one. We have a thornless blackberry doing a lot of flowering. I need to cover this thing up because it's been producing plenty of fruit and I'm not getting any because the birds are getting to it first. So we gotta cover this guy up. This is, well, we got more squash. Well, we got one squash, and then we have, this is grapevine right here. the grapevine going up the fence line right here. So you can see this thing is binding out, and I'm just training along the fence line this way, and I'm going to start training this one along the fence line this way. But if we look in here, you can see a couple grapes in there a little bit, whatever the birds are leaving for me. But this is my raspberry patch, and it's been producing raspberries. I've been picking them here and there when I can find them, but there's grapevines intertwined in there, so it's a little bit of a mess there, but I'll pick it as it comes and just letting nature do its thing. We have another apple tree right here, another red delicious. Now I just want to show you, no, this one is a golden delicious. My apologies. So this one isn't doing so good. So the reason why this one is not doing so good, because I put netting on it. It did have fruit on it. So when I got it from the nursery, it had fruit, and I put that netting on it, and the netting started to suffocate the leaves. The leaves were not getting good airflow, and it just started to kill off the leaves and some of the branches. So I'm going to have to prune this back some. You know, you still see some leaves right here, but it's like dying from maybe here up. And I'm going to definitely prune some of these branches here to preserve the tree. So I mean, this one, it is what it is. This is a rehab project now. But we're going to keep going down this middle line right here. So now we're going down the middle. All right, let's see, what do we got? Oh, I forgot to tell you, right here by this apple that's dying, I put a ton of squash. You can see squash there, squash there, squash. Look at all these little squash plants that are gonna do their thing in a little bit. You know, right here, I put squash seeds everywhere. This is another thornless blackberry that has been producing. Look at all these squash I'm putting in. Carrot, watermelon. I mean, it's not doing the most right now, but it's doing something. Hopefully we get some watermelon soon. Another watermelon, squash, watermelon. Look at all those little squash. And whatever we get, I'm grateful for any bit of food that we get. So it is what it is. I don't know. What is this one? I don't know what this one is. It might be I don't know. It might be a tomato. I'm not sure. All right, what else we got? This looks like another one of these. What is this? I put this in a plant identifier app. I'm not sure what these are. These might be weeds. I don't know if they're weeds. I don't know. This is another blueberry bush that I had to take the netting off because you see the netting was not allowing it to get the airflow, and you can see what's happening to some of the leaves. So it is what it is. I'd rather that the plant be healthy for next year, and I put on the netting in a way that keeps the netting off of the leaves. So I got to figure that out. If y'all have any suggestions, please let me know in the comment section. What else we got? More squash. Look at that. More squash in there. Volunteer tomatoes. Love my volunteers. And this is actually a pepper plant. All right. Squash. Strawberries. Got a flower there, but this one hasn't been doing too much. I might have to give this one some more nutrients. It might be missing something. I'm not sure. But it's a fig tree right here. I put this in first year. This one is an Italian everbearing fig, but it's doing good. We got squash right there. They've been flowering. You can see those flowers starting to come in more. Look at that. More beautiful squash. You can see the flower right there, closed up for the evening. And just more squash. Tons of squash. Volunteer tomato. We got pepper plant right here. I can see the little flower getting ready to start to come in. And then we have the bok choy. I need to harvest. These bok choy seeds are ready to harvest. So I need to come out here and get these before they all open up or the birds eat them all. But we got squash in there. I can't wait for my winter squash to come in. I'm still eating on winter squash from last year. We did great on squash last year. But we got peppers. You can see cayenne pepper. I've been harvesting these cayenne peppers every day now. You know, more cayenne pepper right there. You know, my peppers are definitely good. I made a ton of hot sauce last year. More peppers right here. More cayenne peppers. And then more squash in here. I got to take out this grass, but plenty of squash. And this another currant bush right here. It's not yielding me any fruit this year, but I just put them in this year. It's another summer squash plant right here. No fruit on it, but it's flowering. We got a volunteer tomato, and we got a pepper plant right here. It's flowering. More squash right there. Oh, another volunteer tomato. I don't say no to no volunteers. We got watermelon. What else? Some weeds right there. I think there was a pokeweed. We're gonna take those out. These are weeds. But we got another watermelon right there, and I think these are cabbage. I didn't put them in here. These are volunteers. This cabbage right there. Oh, another cabbage next to some tomato, volunteer tomato, and we got another squash right here. Look at these squash. Look at that. These are winter squash. A sunflower over top. Ooh, another sunflower. And then we got an apple tree right here. Let me see, get a better look. This is another Golden Delicious apple tree, and the same thing happened to this one right here, where I had the netting on it, and the netting wasn't allowing this to get the airflow, the leaves to get the airflow, and it started to kill off a lot of the leaves and the branch. So the tree is still alive, but I definitely got to do some pruning on this Golden Delicious also. You can see from the label there. But yeah, that netting did a number on my leaves. So if y'all think about using netting on your trees, please try to find a way to keep the netting off of the leaves so the tree can get some good airflow. But I definitely got to do some heavy pruning on this thing to keep this thing healthy and alive. All right, now we're gonna head down to our last row. We did two rows already. That one row, second row, it's our third row. These are 45-foot beds. All right, so these are all weeds right here. Take these out real fast. And those are in the way. But we got squash coming in as usual, as per usual. Our squash, another squash, another squash. You know, we got more squash. All right, what do we have? Ooh, that little baby, that looks like a baby marigold. Look at that. What are these? This looks like this thing is about to turn into coriander. Well, we got squash, more coriander. Looks like it's going to turn into that. This one is a pepper. This is one of the peppers that I overwintered from last year. How can you tell? You can see how old that pepper stem is. And we have one that's this one stem is coming out healthy. The rest, it's not really doing a whole lot, but I overwintered this, and it's still alive, but it's probably not doing as well as the peppers that I put in from this year. So I probably won't be overwintering again. Not the peppers, at least. But we got more squash. This is another pepper that I overwintered from last year, and this thing is looking raggedy. It's not doing much at all. But it is what it is. This is a new pepper, and this thing is flowering. This is peppers. This is a blueberry bush, and this is the one blueberry bush that I've been taking a lot of blueberries off of. But you can see the netting was doing a number on this one too, and we don't want to kill this blueberry bush off, but you can see some of the browning on this thing. So that netting right here, that netting did it. And let's get this stick out of here. And we got squash. And sticks coming from the trees above. But we got squash flowering. You see a bunch of volunteer tomatoes here. Nice. That's another pepper.
My mic went out, so I'm doing a voiceover. But where I'm pointing to now are tomatoes. So I put in a bunch of volunteer tomatoes that popped up out of my compost bin, put them in where I had them trellised last year. And I will continue to add more strain as the tomatoes get bigger. But now I'm pointing to squash. And these are a bunch of squash that I put the seeds in a little late in the season. But if I can get more squash, the more the better. And then this is another pepper plant, more pepper plants.
Just peppers and tomatoes. This whole area. All these tomatoes are all volunteers. All the tomatoes you see, all volunteers. Peppers, more peppers right there. It's another blueberry bush right here. You can see those blueberries in there. They're in there. Come out here and harvest these every couple days. There's another blueberry right there. More in there. They're in there. You can see them. But tomato, volunteer. You can see one right there, cherry tomato back there. All right, this is more peppers, tomatoes. All these are peppers right here. I put these in here. And then all the volunteer tomatoes right there. All of them. We got another apple tree right here, Red Delicious. It's not fruiting this year. Maybe next year. Better luck next year. But plenty of squash. There's some weeds. Get them out the way. Like I said, they tell you the ground is fertile, but peppers, volunteer tomato, squash, another squash, summer squash here. It's been flowering. Hopefully we get something out of that. But another squash, tomato, peppers. And we got another grapevine right here. And y'all can see the grapes in there, waiting for those to ripen up. And look at this. This squash, I was going to transplant this out of this bucket, but it's been doing so good, it's growing so well that I just left it in the bucket. We'll see what we get from it. But it's doing its thing. It's flowering, as you can see. You know, flowers closed up shop for the night, but it's doing good. I'll leave it there. And then more peppers. You know, some cabbage that's getting eaten up. Look at them torn up. But more tomatoes along this thing right there. I forgot what seeds these are. This might have been cabbage. Let me see if we can tell. No, it's too hard to tell, but I think this was a cabbage. But I'm gonna harvest the seeds from this anyways. We got another fig tree right here, another Italian ever-bearing fig right there. Squash, more squash right here. You can see I went crazy on the squash. And then we have more grapes right here. But you see the netting is not doing the greatest for these leaves, but there's plenty of grapes in there, as you can see. And then volunteer tomatoes, and then more cabbage seeds, and looks like cabbage that's just getting torn up. You know, I don't have hope for this, but it is what it is. And that's about it. We got another Red Delicious apple tree right here that the netting was kind of not doing great for, but the tree is still alive. I'll let it go. And more squash that I put in, so we'll see what happens. And then we have I decided to experiment doing some hay back here. Now this area doesn't get much sun, but I tried to put some chitting potatoes in this hay. So let's see what this does. We got a few that came out, sprouted out, even with the lack of sunlight. I want to see what this produces. And if it starts doing a lot more, I'm going to layer it again. I'm going to put some other chitting potatoes, which I already have, and I'm going to layer it again with the hay and see what we get. You know, experiment. But that's the gist of it. You know, my walkthrough. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Stay tuned. If y'all got any comments, put it in the comment section. If y'all got any questions, put it in the comment section. And I look forward to hearing from y'all and talking to y'all again. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Terrence for Rue Healthy Plants.